Okay, estudiantes, here is your notes on what to do with stem changers in the preterite, right? So in the present tense, stem changers are boot verbs. They get a stem change in every form but nosotros, but it's completely different when you're dealing with stem changers in the preterite. So here's what you need to know. The first thing you're going to do is check the last two letters of the verb. Because if it's a stem changer that ends in AR or ER, you will not have any stem change at all for that verb in the preterite. So here's your example, pensar, right? It's really important that I look at the last two letters. If they're AR, then my brain should go, oh, look at this stem change. Nope, not putting it in. You can see the forms, pensé, pensaste, pensó, pensamos, pensaron. There is no stem change in any of them. And also these endings, right, e con acento, aste, o con acento, amos, aron, these are my regular AR preterite endings. So stem changers don't get their own sets of endings, they pull from the regulars, okay? Next, if it's a stem changing verb that ends in IR, okay, so ARs and ERs, nothing. But if it ends in IR, it will get a stem change. However, it's only going to happen, okay, in the LAO usted and AOCs ustedes forms, and your two possible stem changes in the preterite, O to U or E to I. That's it. It's not like present tense where you get, O to U, E, E to I, E. No, that doesn't exist. In preterite, first of all, it has to be an IR verb. So like checkbox number 1, it's an IR verb. Second of all, it's got to be in one of these 6 forms, LAU usted or AOCs ustedes. And then lastly, when you put in that stem change, it'll either go in as O to U or E to I. This sounds like a lot, but let me show you the example on the next page. Okay, so here's your example, dormir. So I go through my checklist. Number 1, it's an IR verb, right? It ends in IR. So this is the stem change you're going to see on your paper, O to U E. We always give you the regular one, but it's your job to decide what am I going to do with that. Okay, so I told you it's got to be an IR verb. The stem change is only going to happen in these bottom forms, LA usted and AOCs ustedes. So here's where the magic will be. The other forms, no stem change. Okay, and you can see that. I don't do anything with this O. I just leave it alone up here. Okay, down here is where I get the stem change, but my last part of this is, remember, O to UE doesn't exist in the preterite tense. So I modify it. I make it O to U. So I end up with durmió, durmieron. O to U only in these bottom forms. That's it. And that's only because it's an IR verb. This is key. Okay, here's your another example. Mentir, right? Normally it's E to IE in the present tense. Miento, mientes, miente, mentimos, mienten. We're in the preterite. We're in past tense. It's different. So first of all, okay, I got to do my checklist. Is it an IR verb? Yes, it is. Okay. Second of all, I got to remind myself those stem changes are only going to happen LA usted and AOCs ustedes down here. Okay. Not here, and not here. Okay. And then lastly, my stem change is only E to I. E to IE does not happen in the preterite, so I modify it. I make it E to I. So I switch out the E in mentir for an I. Mintió and mintieron. There you go. Okay. So if I were to ask you la forma usted del verbo vestirse, right, take a minute, try and figure it out. Okay, again, you're going to do your checklist. You're going to look, okay, what are the last 2 letters in my verb? AR, ER, IR, because that's going to tell you whether or not you have to deal with a stem change. Then you're going to say, okay, what form is it in? Because again, that is going to affect whether or not you put in a stem change. And then you're going to look at what the stem change is, decide if you put it in as it is, don't put it in at all, or you put it in but modify it. Okay, and what you should get to is this, se vistió. Right? Because again, vestirse ends in IR, so it's an IR verb. I'm looking for the usted form, so it's one of those key forms. And then lastly, it's an E to I change, and E to I does exist in the preterite, so I switch my E to I, and that's what I get right here, se vistió. The eos form of sentirse. Again, I go through my checklist. Okay? Is it an IR verb? Yes. Is it in one of my bottom forms, LA usted or AOCs ustedes? Yes. Then lastly, sentirse normally has this stem change, right? E to IE. That's not an option in the preterite. Preterite, I either get this, E to I, or this, O to U. Clearly it's not going to be O to U, so I got to modify it and make it E to I. Okay? I get to say sintieron, right there. Boom, boom, boom. E changes to I. Okay? La forma ea del verbo morir. Again, my checklist. Is it an IR verb? Ding, ding, ding. Okay? Is it in one of my bottom forms? El he usted or ellos ellos ustedes? Yes, it's in the ea form. Ding, ding, ding. Lastly, O to UE, O to UE. O to UE, your brain should be going, no, 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 that does not exist to the preterite. Right? But what does? What similar change exists? Oh, that would be O to U. So this O is going to change to a U before I add, which makes me get murió. Right? This O changed to a U, and then my ending for ella was yo con acento. Murió. Okay? Now, we need to talk about reír and sonreír. Okay? Reír is a little bit weird. It is a stem changer, and it is an IR verb. So I cut off the IR, and I get RE, right? My stem change, E to I, does get put in these bottom forms, okay? And then my ending would be IO with an accent. So here's the thing. Because the two I's are identical, okay, they're not just two vowels next to each other, but they're the same vowel with the same sound, we're just going to squish them together to get one letter I. Okay? So I end up with this, rió. Same thing with the ellos ellos ustedes form. I put my stem change in, I get RI, my ending is IERON, I have two I's next to each other, just squish them together. So here are the forms of reír, right? Here are the only forms where the stem change happens. Everything else, it doesn't, obviously. And then sonreír has identical forms, just with SON in front of them. So the forms of sonreír would be sonreí, sonreíste, sonrió, sonreímos, sonrieron. And lastly, we need to talk about strong vowels and weak vowels. Your strong vowels, A, E, and O, or A, E, O. Weak vowels, I and U. So, in the I to Y group, right, we talked about this for the I to Y group, but I want to clarify. If, right, you're putting on your endings here and here, right, in the to form and the nosotros form, right, iste and imos, normally these do not get accents. But if I have them next to a strong vowel, an A, an E, or an O, I need to accent them because otherwise I will not hear them. If I don't have an accent over the I and oímos, I hear oímos, oímos. And it doesn't sound like it's preterite. Right? I need to hear really strong imos so I know, oh yeah, that took place in the past. If it's next to a weak vowel, like with concluir, I and U are weak. Okay? They're just both weak vowels. They're just chilling. They're not fighting for control. Okay? That one is not trying to beat up or dominate the other. So neither of those need accents. I'll clarify that a little bit more tomorrow. Okay? Adios.